Responsible AI in Action with host Charles Dimov, CMO, Kama.ai,
and guest Gabriel Carillo, Senior Software Developer, Kama.ai.
Welcome to Responsible AI in Action. I am your host, Charles Dimov, CMO of kama.ai, which develops the leading responsible AI technology systems. This is the Responsible AI in Action podcast or videocast series. We are speaking with leaders in the AI industry about the latest developments, challenges, and solutions in today's AI systems. And we do this in about a 15 to 20 minute interview style. So we get right to the point and jump right in. And with me today, we have right here is Gabriel Carillo, and he is the senior software developer at kama.ai and is also the esteemed new author of AI in Your Hands. So wonderful to hear that, Gabriel, and welcome, Gabriel.
Hello.
Gabriel, we'll jump right in, and let me give you a question here. So, Gabriel, to start us off, can you tell us a little bit about your background in AI technology, and maybe how did you actually get into it?
Well, to begin with, I started about 40 years ago. I have academic degrees in information technology, web development, higher education, and a PhD in management. That's the first thing. In the case of artificial intelligence, I started about 20 years ago. That time, I was in Venezuela working for a university in an academic position. And at the beginning, my interest was academic, especially research. Specifically, I started with knowledge representation and exposition. And I did some work, especially at the research level. I published some papers on knowledge representation and exposition. And then 10 years ago, that was 2015, I met Brian Reshape. That time, they were looking for a developer to work on the prototype of a virtual agent. And I applied for that job. At the beginning, it was a contract. It was not a permanent position. And I worked with Brian for about two years, more or less. And Brian and I created the first prototype of what is today kama.ai. The kama.ai at the beginning was only Brian Ritchie and myself. And well, that was in 2015. Then at the end of 2017, Brian was ready to start with a complete team. And I was offered a permanent position. That time, there was another man, Beruz Taravia, who is our architect. And then Jackie in NLP and Kayan joined the team. So one year after that, we had a complete team to start development. And from that period on, all my work was focused 100% on artificial intelligence. I would say that since 2017 on, all my life, I mean, I'm talking about investigation, learning, development, testing, everything has been only artificial intelligence. Because I say this because at the beginning, my focus was business software. It changed completely from business to artificial intelligence.
Yes. Okay, good. Well, thank you for that little run through. That's interesting. So you've been doing AI technology for a little while, which is good, a number of years now. And not to mention that even back at when you were at the university and such, all of those kind of built up to this, culminated. So let me ask you another question. So number two is, in your book, since let's focus in a little bit on the book, you describe AI as a transformation enabler. So what's the biggest misconception that leaders still have about this transformation going on today?
Well, I think there are several. One is something natural. Resistance to change is common in people. It's something natural. Okay,
Yeah.
so it is not only artificial intelligence, it has been in the past. I had witnessed the shift from desktop development to web development. And that's
Yes.
when a lot of developers had concerns about their careers in the future.
Yes.
They were
Yes.
not seeing the opportunity. They were focused on the challenges, but they didn't see the opportunity. That happened to a lot of people. That's one thing. And just as an example, in 1997, the chess world champion, Garry Kasparov, who is considered the best world player in the history of chess, was defeated by a program called Deep Blue from IBM.
Yes.
At the
That
time,
was quite some time ago. Yeah.
Very few people thought that it would be possible, but it happened. And this is an example because chess is something very difficult, and it has been used to prove how artificial intelligence can be advanced. So the point is that today, the computer will beat, with no doubt, all the best players in the world, including the world champion. And nobody has the chance today to beat a computer. So that's just for, how you say, an example. The other misconception is that a lot of people think that artificial intelligence will take your job. Okay, that's something
that's a big concern in the market right now. Absolutely. Yes. We're hearing that all the time. Yeah.
Yes, but the point is that it will make life easier for most people, but it will bring opportunities. The point is that we have to focus on opportunities to say, well, we can do new things, we can have I say better user experience, and we will have to learn new skills, and we will have to change too. As a person, we have to change. That's one thing. The other thing that is very valid now is that a lot of people think that artificial intelligence is generative intelligence. That's part of it. It's not all. So artificial intelligence is something huge.
Yes.
That's something. Some people, think that, well, you can make it fun, you can write your homework, something simple like that. A lot of people think that it's so simple. No, it's much more than that, and can do many more things than that. And in many cases, can do, especially routine tasks, can be done better and more accurately than humans can do. That's the reality. And another misconception is that some people think that they're going to have rapid and immediate impact. It is slow. That's something that takes time. It needs to mature. And another concern, I wouldn't say misconception, something people expect to have a high revenue on investment. But the point is that at the beginning, the actual revenue is not so big as expected. But I think that this gap will narrow in the future. I have seen, especially maybe the last 5 or 6 years, artificial intelligence has been growing so quickly that this gap will narrow. And in the future, I see more people, especially in business, will be convinced to adopt this technology and to invest in it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think you hit at least two of the points that you hit on. For sure, we are all hearing about how there's lots of companies coming out and they're doing rather large layoffs. The large companies, Google, even Nvidia, I think I saw an announcement, and Microsoft, et cetera, where they're announcing these big layoffs, 1,000 people, 2, 3, 7,000 at a time. And a lot of times I think we're whether they cite AI or whether we're blaming AI on purpose, I don't know. But the interesting thing is always to remember that there's another side to the coin as well. Absolutely, there's turmoil in the short term. I agree with that, but I also agree with you in terms of what you were saying. There are new positions being created as well. Prompt engineer is a great example. That didn't exist 2 years ago. but it's a new thing now, right? And the next thing is context engineering. And there's, I think we have a blog post on exactly that, about 30 other titles that are starting to come up, which is interesting. So again, really, really good point on that. Absolutely. So let me ask you another question on a slightly different topic. Now, in your book, you emphasize the human role in AI deployment. So in our last discussion, so the last conversation that I had, I was speaking with Mark Kozin, who you know, and we were discussing the notions of human in the loop. So could you tell me a little bit about how important do you see this idea about human in the loop working with AI technology? Is it important, or is it something that's just, well, okay, maybe it's today, but tomorrow we won't need it?
Well, very important. And let me clarify this. When we say human in the loop, we are talking about people who supervise artificial intelligence application or maybe the content. The goal is to make this AI system smarter, more robust, accurate, responsible. That's the ultimate goal. But before going further, I want to make this comment. Even before we had artificial intelligence, we have this. For many years, managers have to make decisions. We can speak about routine decision, repetitive decision. We are very well established. We know rules and procedure to make this decision. This type of routine decision can be made very well by artificial intelligence. No problem. The problem is when we go to a high level, especially this type of strategic decision that are made by top level managers like CEOs, vice presidents. Yes, those decisions are complex. They require analysis. In many cases, the data is incomplete, or difficult to understand, is not structured. Okay, in this case, it's extremely important the judgment, experience, wisdom of the experienced manager. Because I'm going to give you an example now. I remember the world before the COVID-19 pandemic. You know, something that happened maybe 4 years ago. I was, at that time, I was in another country, and I witnessed how the economy in that, how the city changed. I think that nobody would have expected this. Nobody, I don't know if somebody could explain it. But in that case, the decisions that were made require wisdom and experience. So in that case, that was not a case for a computer, at least with the current technology. We don't know if in the future it will, be able to track this. But in general, when complex decisions have to be taken, high-level decision, strategic decision, it is completely important, require human in the loop. I mean, the supervision of, but I'm talking about experienced people. And well, some people try to understand when human in the loop is required. In general, we can say depends on the complexity of the decision. Okay, depends also on how much damage a wrong decision could cause. For example, in the case of medicine application, must be very accurate. There is a lot of responsibility behind any decision in the case of medicine. In that case, we have to be very careful before making a decision. These are two cases. To date, it has been improving how accurate this information and decisions are made. And there's a word that if easily heard, we usually read in this day, hallucination. That means when we get wrong information or inaccurate information from any of these applications. So that's, well, some people say is a slow percentage. I don't have a figure now, but the point is that the approach that most people are using to reduce the hallucinations from artificial intelligence is what people call guardrails. In this guardrail, they have some technique to reduce this type of error. Hallucination is an error. And one of these guardrails technique is human in the loop. Definitely, it can help you.
Okay. That's useful. I had never really thought about human in the loop as one of the guardrails, but you are absolutely 100% correct. And by the way, I remember in your book, you have, I liked your little model of the pyramid of saying, data, information, knowledge, and then wisdom really is at the top. And I think you really kind of hit it on the nail on the head in that regard, which is really what I think what AI is doing is kind of pushing humanity to really kind of a little bit higher level to say, you know what, the data and the information layer, the AI systems can handle those. In fact, they do a fantastic job at that level. Knowledge is a little bit trickier, and certainly wisdom, which is at the top, that's really where we need humans. So again, very good discussion. Thank you. Let me jump to the next question. So how about what separates successful implementations in AI from failed ones, in your opinion, on enterprises? Because I've been seeing a lot of statistics. I forget the exact numbers, but BCG, they had put out some stats and they were astoundingly high numbers. So I think they had suggested something like what was it, 70% or something of the AI implementations at the corporate level are not going as planned. They're not hitting their ROI. So what's your feeling about that? What's happening out there?
Well, I think that today it is very important to have a focus on solving specific business problem with well-defined goals. It's not only applying artificial intelligence, because it is people are using that. It's because I need some specific, I have a business problem that can be used. That's the first thing, to clearly define the problem and how we can apply. Second, we need high quality data. We don't have the good data, my God. That's one of the biggest problems, the quality of the data. And another point is to find a way to this artificial intelligence in our workflows. That's something that it is important. And there's something else I have seen in the past. As I said before, I started working in information technology almost 4 years ago.
Yes.
Time, I saw that it is important if a clear commitment from top managers such as CEOs,
very good point.
vice president. If there is no real commitment, no, it will not work. And when I say real commitment, you know that you have to invest money, invest time, and maybe you will not see results immediately. You need to be patient to see these results. If you don't have these, it's very difficult to get some.
I and the entire marketing world experiences the same periodically. Every once in a while, when you start a new implementation of a new website or something and you create a new SEO architecture and everything, there's always that desire for it being like, oh, how come next month I didn't see our traffic volumes jump, our MQLs jump, et cetera. So you're right. Patience is important, and basically a commitment to say, yes, we are going to go down this path, and it may take a little bit longer than a month, but we are committed to this. Now, in that regard, thinking about this might be a little bit dear to my heart, because I'm going to ask you a question about, which is closer to marketing, which is how do you see AI shaping brand trust and that customer experience over the next 3 to 5 years? Where are we going?
Well, I think in general, AI experience is making an easier world. For example, in case of customer experience, I can compare how things were 30 years ago. And I can say that because I started working 40 years ago, and I could see how things change, how the world changed. At the beginning, maybe the big change was internet, was dramatic change. And now we are changing with artificial intelligence. In general, we can see that for the end user, everything is easier, faster, accurate, and can make things easier. Because today, when you have artificial intelligence integrated in many applications, if you don't know anything, you get a lot of help, not only test. There are many ways to help you. It's like they know what the user wants in advance. So in general, it's going to be a good thing for everything. And in the case of brand, of course, the company have to take advantage of this technology. The technology is there, and it depends on the companies, the managers, the investor to take advantage of this. Is the point here, in my opinion, the question is it going to be better or no? I'm completely sure it's going to be better. The point is, how well you do it, how much commitment you have to do it, how long time will it take you to get to where you want to go. You want to do it in a short time or in 10 years, but no doubt that it will be better for everybody, for the people, for the company, for the business in general.
Interesting. That's good. All right. Well, Gabriel, thank you so much for chatting with me, and thank you for joining me on this discussion and this journey. So Gabriel is, again, just to remind everybody, the senior software developer at kama.ai, and is also the author of a recently released book, AI in Your Hands. So very exciting from that perspective. And you can buy a copy on Amazon. Frankly, it's listed there. So please do pick up a copy. In fact, it's well worth the read. Very interesting, dynamics discussed in the book and the history and such. And again, that wonderful little diagram. I love that framework that you've got from data to information all the way up to knowledge. So regarding our sessions, please do stay tuned, of course, as we are going to be speaking with Sergio Sarmiento from Transform Interactive in our very next episode. Sergio will speak with us about VR and AR and about how that's being used today in combination with responsible AI technology, specifically kama.ai, because we do work together, and helping speed up industrial field training, which is really, really quite interesting and new paradigm for that entire area. So with that, we will close off and see you next time on Responsible AI in Action.